Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today is Sunday, June 7th, 2020, and this is your evening live stream. I'm your host, Permission to Exist, and I look forward to having a very in-depth discussion with you this evening. Thanks for joining. I'll see you all very shortly. While we're waiting, I want to say thank you to those of you who responded to the post on the community tab regarding podcasting. Thank you so much. All of your comments were very informative, and I will be using them to inform my podcast going forward. I don't have one yet, kind of getting it all set up because I just want to be ready for that phone call, Welcome as you fill in the room. We will get started shortly. Hi, Jeffrey. Hi, Destiny. Hi, Resurrected. Hi, Mark. Hi, Laura. PTE for Vice President. I like it. I'm down. If they called me, I'd go. Why not? Why not make an attempt at saving the world, right? Hi, everybody. Hi, Rain. Hi, Jonquil. Hi, GCJ. Hi, Deplorable Cat. Hi, Alyssa. Welcome, everybody. All right, you guys, we'll go ahead and get started. Happy Sunday to you all. I hope everybody's hanging in there in spite of everything that's been going on recently. I have a live stream tonight that I wanted to bring to you for a while. So this is another, I need to name these types of videos. This is another one of those that I had multiple conflicting thoughts, couldn't put them together in a cohesive way. So I just skipped out on the video altogether until something made it all come together. Well, something finally made it all come together. So tonight's topic is Exorcising the Narcissistic Demon. Hold on, this is a long title. I don't even remember all. Hold on. Exorcising the Narcissistic Demon, Psychopathic Traits Linked to Non-Compliance with Guidelines. So I am actually going to link the article that we're going to look at together. I am going to link that for you after the show. The reason I'm not linking it now is because I'd like the video to have an opportunity to get a few dollars before they demonetize it. And certain words trigger that. And so once I put the link in there, it'll trigger the algorithm and it'll kick the monetization off. So I will put the link to the article in the description once the show has concluded. However, once I do share the screen with you, you can just Google the title and pull it up for yourself. But I know people like ease of access. So just sit tight. I will send you that link after the show. And yeah, so welcome everybody. Hello, hello. Let's get started. So this could really be considered On Narcissists Demonic Possession Part 3. It really could be. But that would have made the title too long. Hold on 1 second. There we go. That would have made the title a little bit too long. And I think this title is just a little bit better because that's really what's happening. And that's really what we're going to talk about. So really over the past few months, and I'm not speaking of everything regarding well, I guess technically I could be. But when this topic first came out for me, it was early May. So I just want to put that in framing and in context for anyone who comes in later potentially. This video is really not related to everything that's going on in regard to the protests, the riots, everything like that. This is more related to when we were deep in the middle of quarantine, deep in the middle of the new guidelines that were coming out regarding the sickness that has recently plagued the world. So I want to make sure everyone's clear on that because it could very easily be misconstrued if you come into the room late. So with that said, what I'd like to do first is share the thoughts that I was trying to put together with you. And then I want to read the article that I found that is titled Psychopathic Traits Linked to Non-Compliance with Social Distancing Guidelines Amid the CV Sickness. sickness. Sorry, I have to talk in code. Just want the video to get a few dimes before they knock it, okay? So with that, let me go ahead and pull up my screen. Welcome to everyone in the chat. How is the sound? Is the sound okay? Am I dragging at all? Any delays, anything like that? Let me know. Not like I could do anything about it, but it's nice to know if it's completely choppy. All right. All right, you guys. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Welcome to everyone in the chat. Happy Sunday to you. So what we're starting with are my thoughts regarding this issue that I couldn't quite bring together. So as I read through them, they should feel connected, but if they feel slightly disconnected, that's because this was pulled from 3 different Word documents. Because that's just how my brain is. Like, it's like trying to express itself so passionately, and it has 3 strong ideas and it's trying to link them and whatever. So we're going to link them tonight. Okay. So noted at the top of this document, it says this was written around the date of May 11th, 2020. So I pulled that from properties. Okay. So this is a couple of weeks ago and I tabled it because I just couldn't. It was in response to all the stories that were coming out regarding the people who were having a really tough time doing things like keeping their distance from other people, covering their mouth, washing their hands, wearing their facial coverings, things of that nature, right? It was kind of like a worldwide, well, not worldwide, really a countrywide temper tantrum toddler meltdown type situation with like sprinkles of wickedness though. So anyway, here are the thoughts that I was going to share with you. I am going to read them all. It says, the past few months have really given us an opportunity to see who people really are. We get to see who they are under stress. We get to see who they are when their routine is broken. We have been allowed to understand that it doesn't matter to them who they may be hurting. We've been able to see what they really think of the elderly, or individuals who may not be as healthy as them, or individuals who may not be, who may not work as prestigious a job as them. We've gotten to see that in many ways, they feel you deserve your condition. And if you're old, well, you were going to die soon anyway, right? We've observed that they literally place money over life. Callous and cold are the only words I can find to describe who we're dealing with right now. Now we know why there's a cold and flu season every year. Now we know why nothing ever really changes. Now we know why everything is such a fight. We are absolutely surrounded. We are surrounded by people with no purpose, no individual direction, possibly no inner dialogue. We are surrounded by people whose only mantra is repeat, 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 and never reflect, revise, or revamp. If there weren't people out there fighting for change, none would ever happen. I'm surprised we've achieved what we have, but if you only knew how far ahead we should be. I'm surprised we've achieved what we have, but if you only knew how far ahead we should be. We'll never get there, though, because of these narcissists. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I don't feel safe around you in any way. I see that nothing will stop you. You are ruthless and relentless, even over little things. So here's kind of where it shifts, but it's still kind of connected to the same idea. So now I'm kind of getting into the idea of regardless of whether or not this is a hoax. So that's kind of the premise. Hoax or not, and then this is the rest of that thought process. So here's where we stand. No matter how real or fake, people will always come out and call it a hoax and go against it in the opposite direction. We have been lied to a lot, so it's understandable that people are skeptical and have questions about what they're being told. But my question to you is everything a hoax? And who are we to believe if not the doctors, nurses, and other medical professionals? I understand the skepticism coming from official sources, but what about the information coming directly from our friends and families? Everyone's lying? Can it be denied that we've had real emergencies before? If so, what's to stop us from having real emergencies in the future? Are the only events we're going to accept be natural events like hurricanes and earthquakes? Will those be the only ones we call real? The vibe I'm getting and what's disturbing to me is that there's a portion of our population who intends on never cooperating in an emergency situation, be it real or fake. Again, I acknowledge that we have been lied to a great deal. The news coming out regarding this is changing every day, and it really is. But what does that have to, okay, so here we go, and this is what's going to connect us to the article. The news coming out regarding this is changing every day, but what does that have to do with you exercising even basic minimum precautions? Y'all forgive me. I think this is when I was doing voice to text. So if you're reading along, just forgive me. So a pandemic might be out there, but it also might not be. Does that mean you just do nothing and go about your life as if nothing's wrong? Would it be more believable if it was something that was actually released in the form of a biochemical weapon? I guess what I'm asking is, what would make you believe enough to protect yourself and others? Until you can answer these questions, I have to keep my distance from people like you. I consider you a narcissist in this regard because you don't believe anything until it is actually happening to you, or until it has gotten so bad it's undeniable. So even if this turns out to not be as serious as they're saying, which 70,000 deaths is pretty serious in such a short time frame. So this should tell you right here about the time that I wrote it, because only 70,000 had died at that point. At minimum, we can start to raise awareness around hygiene and communicable diseases. What a great opportunity to remind everyone that just because the year is 2020, it does not mean that germs, viruses, and bacteria no longer exist. We still need to be hygienic and considerate. And I don't see what the problem is with that. This is not on the sheet, but without regard to where you stand on the side of the fence, what's wrong with being a hygienic person? What's wrong with being considerate? What's wrong with giving people some space? You see what I mean? You don't have to do anything else, but you can't like cover your mouth when you cough, cover your sneeze, give people a little space so you're not breathing down your neck. You can't do that. So that's what tells me something's wrong. But anyway, back to the sheet. It says, what's interesting to me is what the alternative would have been if the government had chosen to do nothing, which they almost did. Far more people in America would have died, and you all would have been mad about that too. There's just no pleasing you. So let's say this one wasn't real, but the next one that comes up actually is. Are you going to react in the same way? Are you going to throw a tantrum in a hissy fit and pull out your guns because people are trying to protect health? Something is really wrong with you guys, and that's in transmission, okay? Forgive the typos and all that. Some of this is text to speech. I was driving, the thought was on my mind, tried to do the dictation, whatever. Good as it gets. You understand the overall gist though. So the whole point in me sharing this with you is that today I saw an article. Let me just switch around here. Today I saw an article and I was like, I think this is what I was trying to say. I think this is capturing actually the thoughts that I was trying to share and just couldn't. Hold on, let me actually make it just a little bit bigger. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that in Safari. Welcome everybody while I am increasing the zoom. Here we go. Oh yeah, all right. Welcome, welcome. For anyone tuning in late, this live stream is more so related to a couple of weeks ago. So this is not related to current events like the events of the past week or two. This is more so related to a couple weeks ago. My thoughts were written around May 11th. So yeah, so I just want to make sure everyone's clear on that. Hi, I can't wait to read your comments and things. Okay, I think that's big enough. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, so let's get back over here. Perfect. Welcome, everyone. So today I see this article and it says psychopathic traits linked to non-compliance with social distancing guidelines amid the CV sickness, right? And the overall guiding thought of the video I was trying to do was, if you want the narcissist demon to hop out, put boundaries around it. Tell it no and watch that demon hop. Which is why the title of this live stream is Exorcising the Narcissistic Demon, Psychopathic Traits Linked to Non-Compliance. I'm sorry. Psychopathic traits linked to non-compliance with social distancing guidelines amid the CV crisis. Okay? So hopefully this is all making sense and where we're going with this so far. Now, for those who really do enjoy the science and the literature and the technicalities of all that, this is a very technical, I think almost peer-reviewed article, if not peer-reviewed or close to it. The study was peer-reviewed. So this is just not some, armchair psychologist just spouting off things. A study was done on this, and we're going to read the whole thing. It is very long. So if you're watching on a playback and you want to read it on your own, I will timestamp the moment when we finish reading, but I do think I might be editorializing along the way. So it's up to you. Pick your journey. Let's read this together. Published June 7th, 2020 by Eric W. Dolan. It says, new research provides some initial evidence that certain antagonistic personality traits, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm laughing because it's like a confirmation and a validation for me, but it's just like, wow, they have to study. You are such a brat that they have devoted research to this. Research. And I'm tickled, genuinely, okay? So I'm really going to try to get through this without laughing, but I'm already tickled. So typically that means I'm going to laugh more. So here we go. New research provides some initial evidence that certain antagonistic personality traits are associated with ignoring preventative measures meant to halt the spread of the novel CV situation. The study has been peer-reviewed and accepted for publication in the journal Social Psychology and Personality Science. It is currently available at the link there pictured on your screen. On March 31st, 2020, Dr. Deborah Birx, the coordinator of the U.S. government's CV task force, said there is no magic bullet, there's no magic vaccine or therapy, it's just behaviors. Each of our behaviors translating into something that changes the course of this situation over the next 30 days. My experience as a psychological scientist, as well as a practicing psychologist, has convinced me that the importance of psychology and behavior in the prevention and management of a wide range of health problems is enormous. This includes personality, or the study of important ways in which people differ. It was clear from reports in the media very early in the CV-19 situation that some people were rejecting advice to socially distance and engage in increased hygiene. And I told you guys this on the very first video I did about this. I said, I promise you, some people are going to go out in public and cough in people's faces because they think it's cute. I told you that. The first video I did on this, and what do you know? Okay, let's continue. There can be many reasons for this, and I thought that personality may play at least a small role in it. I knew that traits from the so-called dark triad, narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy, as well as the traits subsumed within psychopathy, are linked to health risk behavior and health problems. And I expected them to be implicated in health behaviors during the crisis. There's also prior research suggesting that people high on the dark triad traits may knowingly and even deliberately put other people's health at risk by engaging in risky intercourse behaviors and not telling their partners about different STDs and STIs. And we know this to be true, right? We've heard about people who will knowingly have a contagious illness that can be spread through human contact and won't say anything, and some who have even purposely gone out and tried to spread it. And there's video evidence of that regarding this current situation that we're in. Early in the situation and in subsequent months, there were numerous reports of individuals purposely coughing, spitting, or even licking door handles in public, either as a way to intimidate others or as a way to rebel against the emerging new norms of social distancing and hygiene. Really disturbed that hygiene is a new norm. But you know what? I won't complain. Better late than never, right? Welcome to all the new germaphobes of the world. We've been waiting. I was curious whether the dark triad and psychopathy-related traits may help explain such behavior. The researcher used Amazon's mechanical Turk to survey 502 US adults between March 20th and March 23rd, 2020. The online survey asked participants how often they complied with health recommendations on preventing the spread of the sickness, if they planned to do so, and how they would behave if they became infected. The survey also included several assessments of personality. The study took place before health behaviors related to the sickness had become extremely politicized in the US, and when people were still learning about the rapidly evolving situation. Most of the participants, the researcher found, were complying with health recommendations from the US CDC and the WHO. It was encouraging to find that people who participated in my study generally reported engaging in social distancing and hygiene, planning to continue to engage in these measures, and being willing to do what was necessary to protect the health of loved ones, acquaintances, and strangers. But some participants reported not heeding the advice, which the researchers found was linked to several personality traits. Excuse me. Blogoff found that lower levels of agreeableness and conscientiousness were associated with a reduced likelihood of endorsing health recommendations related to social distancing and hygiene. In other words, people who were less sympathetic/cooperative and people who were less responsible/organized were less likely to engage in preventative measures. And that's basically what that whole video is about. That video is entitled, what is that video titled, y'all? Let me go look. This is sad. I know the back end of it. I just want to say the front of it correctly. That video is entitled, oh yeah. The CV will wipe out narcs specifically. And that's what I was basically saying. When I was saying that this situation will wipe out narcissists specifically, this is what I was saying. Because narcissists are low in agreeableness, they're not conscientious, they're not going to cooperate with the guidelines at all just because you ask them to. They're less sympathetic, they're less cooperative, less responsible, and less organized, and therefore less likely to engage in preventative measures, even if it meant saving their own life. That's exactly what I was saying. This is exactly what I was saying. In addition, people who scored, and I'll link that video for anyone who didn't see it. In addition, people who scored higher on the psychopathic subtraits of meanness and disinhibition tended to show less interest in social distancing and hygiene. You're mean. Just mean, rude, and nasty. You are exactly who we've been dealing with this whole time. Whole time. You are who the conversation has been about this whole time. And it's interesting that this is what brought it out. Nothing else really brought it out. I mean, we've seen examples, we talked about examples, but nothing else really brought it out until it became a situation where you were being asked to do something to protect someone else. Oh, you made that demon hop. Now you got the demon exercising itself. They were fine as long as they could cough on you, sneeze on you, cough in the grocery store, sneeze in the grocery store, wipe their nose, pick up groceries, put them back down, lick their fingers, touching all over everything. They were fine as long as that was the world that we were living in. And now that we've asked the world to let's elevate our hygienic standards, since we claim to be so civilized, let's raise our levels of sanitation and cleanliness, you flip out your demon. And it made that demon hop right out of you. And now we have proof, academic proof of what I was saying a couple of months ago when this all first started. Meanness and disinhibition also predicted the endorsement of behavior that puts others at risk of infection, such as touching or sneezing on high-use surfaces in public. Disinhibition reflects poor impulse control, while meanness describes the lack of regard for others. You're mean, rude, and nasty. You don't care how you impact other people. And that's why I keep saying over and over, without regard to what you think this is, you have to understand why some of us do not care about your position and never will. Those of you who are shouting from the rooftops, this is not real, this is not real, it's fake. Listen, we don't care because for the first time, people are washing their hands. For the first time, people are covering their mouth when they sneeze in public. It's always been disgusting. It has always been disgusting. Pre this and post this, it will remain disgusting. We are happy. I love these facial coverings. I've seen several people coughing, walking down the street or wherever, but guess what? They have on a mask. So my anxiety goes down because I'm like, well, it looks like they're sick, but at least they're keeping it to themselves, because I'm not unreasonable. I know that just because you have a cold, you can't always stay home shuttered in just because you have a cold. People have to do things. I get that. But in the past, we were a society where people really felt, oh, well, if I have a cold, looks like you're getting it too. Somebody got me sick. That's how these crazy people think. Somebody got me sick, so it looks like I'll be getting other people sick. And that goes right back to what this article was just saying about people who spread STDs. Same thing. Knowingly and deliberately putting other people's health at risk. If you have a cold or you have a standard flu and you know that, and your mindset is, oh, well, somebody got me sick, you are who these people are talking about. You're who we're talking about. You are on the dark triad. Something's wrong with you. Okay? Let me continue on the article. Where were we? Let's see. Excuse me. Yes, which meanness describes the lack of regard for others. People scoring high on these traits tended to claim that if they had the sickness, they might knowingly or deliberately expose others to it. So the fact that they would even confess that to these researchers should tell you something. They don't even care what the researchers think about them. One potential implication from this research is that there may be a minority of people with particular personality styles on the narcissism and psychopathy spectrum that have a disproportionate impact on the situation by failing to protect themselves and others. And this is why the United States of America has the highest rates of anywhere else. And I told you that too. I knew we would take the number one spot because we are loaded and filled to the brim with people like this. And part of the reason is kind of what we were talking about in our last live stream, the very last one before this, is because this country can't take discipline. This is a country that cannot handle discipline, cannot handle discipline. We spared the rod and we ruined the children. Ruined. And I'm not advocating for spanking and abusing your small people. I have to speak in code because, you know, we live in a free country, but we can't speak freely for real. I'm not advocating to you laying hands on your small people to the point where they're bruised up, knotted up, No, that's not what I'm saying. There's ways to administer strong discipline without ever touching them. But we're not here to discuss that. My point is, overall, not just with the kids, but in every facet of our society, we cannot take discipline. We can't take discipline, criticism, feedback, nothing. As soon as you say anything other to the contrary of you're awesome, you're labeled a bad person, a black sheep, and you're pretty much cast out of anything. Friendship circles, social circles, work circles, church circles, you name it. We can't speak freely anymore. And part of that comes from that we cannot be disciplined as a society. We cannot take discipline as a society. And this is the end result. This is the end result of that. This is one of the end results of a society that can't handle discipline, just cannot take being chastised at all. Okay. Let's see. Like all research, the study includes some caveats. The study's limitations include its use of a non-random, non-probability sample of only U.S. adults, abbreviated trait measures, and newly developed, previously untested health behavior measures. A likely unintended effect of this may be underestimating the strength of trait behavior correlations. The results do not mean that disease is only spread by other. Sorry, let me start over. The results do not mean that disease is spread only by irresponsible or inconsiderate people. The correlations were often small, and the scientific definitions of traits are not everyday judgments about character. Future research should look into actual, not self-reported health behavior, and whether it shows similar links to personality. It probably does. Research should also test more ways of framing public health advice to find messages that may work for the more antagonistic individuals among us. You're not going to find a message that works for the more antagonistic individuals among us. You're not. Finally, it would be important to study the mechanisms behind the trait behavior linkages. Well, one of them I think is just flat out possession. Flat out demonic possession, but science doesn't consider that a real thing, which is fine. It's fine. Keep researching it. Okay? So that is the whole article. You're welcome to Google this on your own. I will link it probably tomorrow, just to, put the algorithm to sleep, if you will, but I probably already triggered it. Who cares? So hopefully I've made my overall point here, which is I respect, understand, and don't entirely disagree with those who are questioning all of this. I get it. Trust me. Okay. I really do. But the position that I'm coming from is this. Without regard to what you believe to be true or false, you don't have to be closer than 6 feet to me. You really don't. If we're standing in line, why are you 1 foot away from me? Like if I back up accidentally and I bump into you, why? Why are you so close to me? Why do I feel the rush of wind on my neck when you just sneeze behind me because you didn't feel like you needed to cover your mouth? Do you understand? So we've been dealing with these behaviors for a long time. So then this situation comes along and the federal, state, and local governments are now requiring / mandating, in some cases, people take hygienic measures toward themselves and one another, and you flip out. I mean, that demon hopped right out of you. It really did. And you're angry. I can understand you being upset about the economy. My feelings are totally different, 100%. So, but I respect your feelings about being upset about the economy, even though I feel like life is more important, but whatever. What I don't respect is your outrage over people simply asking you, hey, can you wash your hands? Hey, can you cover your sneeze? Can you cover your mouth? Would you mind covering your face? I mean, I would think people would love that, especially the theorists out there, because wouldn't you want your face to not be recognized with all these cameras everywhere and drones, facial recognition technology? I would think you would be running towards that like with bells on. Like, great. Now I don't have to have my face everywhere with all this facial recognition technology that's being installed all over the place. Like, that's why I say a lot of times your theories aren't in alignment with one another. You should be happy about the masks. But anyway, the overall point of this live stream, and then I'm going to go read some of your comments, is, let me see if I can find that little blurb right here. I'm just going to highlight it. Blackall found that lower levels of agreeableness and conscientiousness were associated with a reduced likelihood of endorsing health recommendations related to social distancing and hygiene. In other words, people who were less sympathetic, cooperative, and people who are less responsible and organized are also less likely to engage in preventative measures. These are your narcissists. This is who they're describing, especially the part where it said that some of them even said they would purposely try to spread it. Like, if that's not a psychopath, dark triad person, I don't know what else is. I don't know what else is. That's what I mean when I say a lot of criminals actually aren't in jail. They're not in jail. They're free. They're walking around, coughing on things, purposely contaminating things so they can get other people sick, so other people can suffer like they did, because they feel like someone wronged them. So they feel like it's their duty to go wrong someone else in the same way, because that's how they think. Okay. So it looks like my notions from a couple weeks ago were correct. They were just backed up by this article. Yeah, you're on the dark triad if you're really struggling with the most basic of all of this. Like, why weren't you washing your hands before? Why do you feel like you don't have to? Do you feel like you're invincible? And even if you don't want to wash your hands, that's fine. But if you're going to go out touching things that other people touch, you owe that to other people to wash your hands for other people, so you don't go spreading it around. One thing I hope the restaurant industry picks up on, and I'm going to keep advocating for this until I see it happen, is having all patrons who enter the restaurant wash their hands before they are seated. Right there in the little lobby area. You can have one of those little chef sinks, kitchen sinks. I don't know what they're called. They're stainless steel. Some soap, hot water, whatever. For the crybabies, we'll have absolutely everything. Water, warm water, cold water, whatever. Because somebody will say, I can't wash my hands with soap and water. Okay, well, what can you wash your hands with? We'll have that there for you too. You want to wash your hands in extra virgin olive oil? We'll have that there for you too, but you're washing these hands before you come in this establishment. And on that thread, I want to speak out to all these business owners that I feel like have been shaken down from their right to take a stand regarding certain things in their business. For example, Costco. I don't know what it is. I haven't followed up on it recently, but there were a tremendous number of customers who canceled their memberships because Costco required a face mask upon entry. And I hope that they have held firm on that. You have the right as a business to say, hey, no shirt, no shoes, no service. And people are having full-scale meltdowns because a business that has the right to determine how they want to run business in a healthy way is saying, please wear a facial covering before you come in here, melting down, canceling their memberships all over the place. Costco, hold firm. I'm not renewing mine only because you guys still don't have toilet paper, man. Costco, you're not even open to the general public. I don't understand why you don't have toilet paper yet. Like, your consumer base is limited because it's limited to people who have memberships. It's not even open to the general public. So mine lapses at the end of this month, and I'm going to check one more time. And if they still don't have toilet paper in stock by the end of June, I'm just going to let my membership lapse, because that was one of the main reasons I went to Costco anyway, was for the toilet paper. So, but I'm not canceling or allowing my membership to lapse simply because you asked me to wear a mask. No problem. Like, you could literally pull your shirt up over your face. You know what I mean? But full-scale meltdowns. because people are asking them to do something that might protect themselves or others. So let's say it's not even, you don't even have the sickness. You just have a regular cold. Well, what if someone is in the store immunocompromised, compromised in some way? Can't we just protect them from catching your cold? Do you see what I mean? Like, it's amazing to me. And now I'm also starting to finally understand the phrase, the whatever it's called, cleanliness is next to godliness. It's all starting to make sense. It is. Cleanliness, decency, order, hygiene is next to godliness. And we are a godless nation. So it makes sense to me that you want to be nasty. Sneeze all out in the open air. Sneeze on an airplane. Sneeze on a subway car. Coughin without covering your mouth, knowing how far that stuff travels, the force behind it, and you don't care. Just a society full of people who don't care. A society full of dark triad narcissists. And this is the end result. And this is why we top the scales regarding this particular health crisis. So this is all that I actually wanted to say on the topic. Hopefully I got my point across well. I hope you all understand where I'm coming from. I want to switch over into after show mode and go through some of your comments. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For anyone just joining, high-level summary. There was a video I was trying to do, couldn't get it together, so I shared the first part of the stream, my thoughts, which were essentially, we have people in our society who, it doesn't matter, real, fake, urgent, not urgent, they're never going to do anything they're asked to do, especially if it's going to benefit somebody else, right? And to take it a step further, I was speaking on how when this all first started happening, I said there were going to be people who purposely go out and do things because they think it's cute, cough on other people, sneeze on other people. I think I saw someone like lick someone's arm or something disgusting, right? And it's like, you never have acted like this before ever in your life. You've never done this during cold season, flu season. I'm sure these people have gone out with a cold and flu before, but you weren't licking doorknobs. You weren't coughing on people's face on purpose. It wasn't until someone tried to put a boundary around you that your demon hopped out. How very interesting. So then that notion of those thoughts was backed up by this article that I just shared with everybody, which I will link later. Okay. So I'm going to go through your comments and then we'll get out of here. Welcome to everyone. Yes, it says, it's adding at Harriet. I think you're absolutely right. They're real life body snatchers. Listen, we've had a lot of disclosure here lately. Things are getting disclosed left and right. I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the things that gets disclosed. That there are individuals among us who, much like a person who may not be born with every component of a fully functional human body, these people are born without a fully functioning, like, human soul, if you will, or being, or the thing that makes us human. We've been talking about this for a long time. All right, let's see. Let's see here. A lot of references to the zombie apocalypse, right? That's what it feels like. It's unreal. Did you guys see some artist did some installations for Black Mirror season 6, which has not been announced. They keep saying there's not even plans for it, but let me see if I can even just pull it up so you guys can see it. Basically, they're putting these up all around the world, I think. Black Mirror season 6 installments part. I don't know. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Show the picture. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. So I don't know how well you can see that, but basically it's a guy, he's standing, he's holding a phone, taking a picture of the side of the subway wall. And it says Black Mirror 6th season live now everywhere. And it's a mirror. Do you get it? So he's taking a picture of himself in the mirror, and it's saying Black Mirror 6th season live now everywhere. Do you get it? So basically, the world we're living in right now is basically a real live episode of Black Mirror, and that's exactly what it feels like. Exactly what it feels like. So hopefully that's hinting that they plan on doing a season 6, but the creator said he's not going to because he said there's too much messed up stuff going on in the world right now. So basically, it's almost like the creator is saying there's nothing they can make that would actually top the weirdness that we're experiencing right now. Let's see. Right. Outraged because you can't get a haircut. You know, want to burn it down over that. But then when the real issues come up, it's like, I can't. Let's see. All right, I'm just still going through your comments. I saw this. It says, interesting study. Scientific American has taken a deep dive into the aggravating phenomenon of people who fail to return shopping carts at grocery stores. I actually saw that. And the premise of that, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that people essentially, generally, it was looking at a couple of things. And one thing was, will people do the right thing in the presence of anyone making them do the right thing? So in other words, you don't have to take your cart back to the trolley. You're not going to get arrested. You're not going to get a ticket. You're not going to be publicly shamed, you know. But people who do tend to understand the value of doing so. So it's kind of almost, it was like very interesting. I should have done a stream or something on that. But yeah, but then the other half of that was looking at factors like how far away is the trolley from the person's car, because that often impacts it as well. For example, if the person has to take the cart all the way back up to the storefront because there are no trolleys in the lot, they're more likely to leave the grocery store or the cart in the parking lot because there's nowhere to put it. So it gets really heavy into like access, resources, all of that. It was a very interesting study. I agree. So you guys can look that up when you have time. Yes. Oh my God. Do y'all remember that when it was trending for people to go open containers of ice cream, lick them and put them back? Like, what is wrong with you? Really? You got to be on the triad. You have to be to do something like that and think it's okay, think it's funny. And a lot of them got arrested and hopefully are facing jail time, I would hope. If for no other reason, if I was the judge, I would be very hard on them to send a message to everyone else. Like, I'm giving you like 5 years for that. Oh yeah. I told you I'm strict. I don't think stuff like that is cute. And I don't want anyone else to get inspired and go doing the same thing, because that's not only disgusting, it's a public health issue. So I want them to know, if you do this and you're dumb enough to record it and post it on the internet, you're going to jail for 5 years with no hope for parole or probation or anything. You don't need to be out. Something is wrong with you, because what else are you doing similar to that? You see what I mean? Character is static. People like to think, oh, that person made one mistake in this one area, but generally character is static. So if you will do something like that, you will do something similar somewhere else. You will. It says, I see them all sprouting up now. You said this in your video with the narc demon on the plane. Exactly. And then you followed it, said, you definitely saw this years ago. I'm telling you guys, it makes me want to go back, comb back through my stuff. I didn't know it would be this bad. I didn't think the narc rebellion would be this bad, but wow. Let's see. It says these demons are getting bold and desperate. All these rappers are making demon time a popular saying. Can y'all believe that? So I know a lot of my viewers are international. So you may not be, or you may not closely follow like what's going on here in the States, but there's something going on now called demon time. And I'm going to just go ahead and give you a definition so you guys will know, because that's the society we're living in now. Demon time definition. It says, okay, I can't read this one. There's too many curse words in it. Hold on. Dang, that's the only one though. It says any time of the night past 11 p.m., a time of pure chaos. When the chaos boys come out to play, people's feelings are not taken into account. An individual may start saying something out of pocket. You can be on demon time for anything. Like, oh yeah, I'm glad I didn't show this one. Like being on demon time with a young lady. You can be on demon time with anything. So basically, they're saying it's a time of night where the demons come out to play, and it's been popularized and made mainstream. I'm looking at the Urban Dictionary definitions right now. So yeah, so now that's a thing now. And you wonder why our society is where it is and the way that it is. Come on. Oh, absolutely. Says PT is the type of person to pull out Lysol when people cough in public. Oh, absolutely. I'm the worst. I'm awful, y'all. I'm absolutely awful. I'll get up and move away from a person. I think the worst display is one day I was getting on a plane and I had a window seat and I got to my aisle and I looked and there was, all I can say is substance. I don't know if this person before me maybe had been sweating. I don't know. I didn't see who got up and left. All I know is there was a substance on the seat. And I was like, I am so sorry, you guys. I have to wipe this up. And I pulled my wipes out of my purse and I wiped my seat down, wiped my armrest down, everything. Yes, I held the plane up by about 3 minutes. Well, not the plane, but I held up the boarding process by about 3 minutes. And I felt deeply apologetic about that. But I wasn't going to sit on that. I'm not. It's nasty. I personally couldn't be happier about all the new sanitation and hygiene standards. I hope they stay. Have you noticed that people aren't really getting sick? Like, did you get sick this year? Did you catch a cold this year? If not, maybe it's because everyone around you and yourself are finally engaging in health and hygiene practices. There is no reason for us to have a cold and flu season every year. That's silly. That makes no sense. People are working from home. So if they catch something from their kids, they keep it home with them and their kids. They're not spreading it out in the world. That's beautiful. I wish everyone felt the beauty that I feel inside regarding this. Yep. It says when you call out bad behavior, you call out the demon. You exorcise it right on out. Right out. Right out. It is getting normalized. It says demonic stuff is getting normalized and it creeps me out. It creeps me out too. It's so strange. It's weird. Like, this is who we want to be, really? Let's see. Right. It says capitalism is the very representation of narcissism. So any means to eliminate it, I support. I support it too. I'm waiting for everyone to see the light. I did a tweet today. Let me see here. I'm going to just read it. Tweet says, if racism ended tomorrow, the rent would still be too damn high. Home ownership would still be difficult, if not impossible, for many. Student loans still can't be bankrupted. Healthcare is still not an option for all. You have to destroy the systems that oppress too. And I mean that because, like we discussed already in previous live streams, if racism ended tomorrow, first, how would you measure that? What are you measuring that by? What are your variables? What variables are you measuring, and for what length of time? So if it ended tomorrow, that would be amazing. I think that would be fantastic. But we would still have every single issue in place that is actually causing us problems. The real issues that are causing us problems, not that racism is not, but like I said before, it's an intangible thing that you would have a lot of trouble measuring whether or not it was actually finished. But I can measure whether or not, I can get into a home with ease. I can measure whether or not, just like in other countries, I can just go to the doctor, get treated, and walk out and not have hundreds of dollars of bills strapped to my back because of that. I guarantee you, if you made healthcare somewhat universal, you would see these little petty lawsuits go down. Excuse me, because people would be like, you know what? Yeah, I hurt my foot, but I'm fine. I can go get it treated and I don't have to pay thousands of dollars to treat my foot. Give me $1,000 for pain and suffering, call it a day. But what happens is people get hurt on other people's property or whatever, and they see the medical bills that are out in front of them. And it's upsetting. It's like, because of you, I now have $10,000 worth of medical bills. So I want you to pay those, plus the irritation that came with all of this. Do you see? When you're more reasonable with people, people become more reasonable. And capitalism is the very definition of unreasonable. Let's see here. For the most part, let's see. Right. Like, glory, hallelujah. It says, I love the face covering too. People are nasty AF. I love the face covering too. No more breathing in nasty bad breath. Right. Like, aren't we happy to give each other a little space? I love it. I bet the cashiers love it. Oh man, think about everyone who's had to sit in someone's face for an extended period of time. I bet the nail techs are so happy. Well, they've always worn masks, but that was for the dust and things like that. But I bet they're so happy to not have food breath in their mouth or in their face, coffee breath in their face, breath in their face. I bet they're so happy. I bet they're loving it. Right. I can't believe we've had to tell adults to wash their hands. What were you doing before? Not washing them. And I can tell you that from experience. I can tell you that from setting up events and making an announcement to a group of adults. Hey, everybody, we're just about set up over here. We got a buffet. Can't talk. We've got a buffet style going over here. Before you move through the buffet line, we're going to ask everyone to just wash your hands in the sinks towards the back of the room. Thank you so much and enjoy your food. And you'll actually see people look at their hands and go, oh, well, I just washed my hands. Oh, I washed my hands a few minutes ago. Yeah, I washed my hands when we came back from break. It's like, but that was 30 minutes ago. Yeah, but they're still clean. It's like, wow, that is really, really a sore point. And then we talk about hoarders on this channel. It all seems connected and linked up, doesn't it? Doesn't it all seem oddly linked together? It says, thank you. Public health, looking out for your fellow man, hygiene, and you're going to call this a hoax and refuse to abide. You're a demon. Something's wrong. I ended my thoughts that I shared with you guys earlier with something is really wrong. And I mean that. Something is really wrong. Wow. Who'd have thought in a million years this would be the thing that would trigger the most backlash out of people? Hey, hi, can you wash your hands? Not washing my hands. It's free country. Oh, okay, but there's elderly people here and there's children. Oh, well, they should be healthier. That's what your immune system is for. Man, I couldn't. I'm awful. Let's see. I would kick you out. I'm like, well, you're not coming in. You can kick and scream. You can call the police. You can do whatever you want. You're not coming in here. Sorry. It's private property. You love to say that, don't you? That's like one of your favorite sayings. This is private property. Well, this is private property, and I don't have to let you on it without you properly sanitizing yourself. You're lucky I don't make you take your shoes off. You need to be thankful for that. Let's see. Yeah, talk about a sick mind, right? Oh, you know what? Speaking of taking off shoes, I got to tell you guys. So let me do a story time real quick. So this is back when I was in college. And I had a roommate. So she and I were roommates for about 2 years. Then she met the man who ultimately became her husband. But before they got married, she got pregnant. And we were 19 at the time. Her parents were not happy about it, right? They were not happy. But I was actually really impressed with how she just took complete ownership of her situation. It was just like, whatever. And she started like everything they took her car away from her. She went and got herself another car. They took her rent money away from her. Her future husband, boyfriend at the time, took over paying her rent. Like everything that like her parents tried to take from her for falling pregnant, like she overcame it all, made straight A's in school. Like it was all very impressive, really. So I have to give that setup to kind of give the background of the story. So that she had this very contentious relationship with her parents, right? So eventually the baby was born. At this point, she had moved out. She and her, I think they had gotten married. I don't know. I'll just say husband. She and her husband had moved out. So I was in my college apartment all by myself, y'all. And I was living the dream. Oh, I was living the dream. I was like, can I help you pack? We had a good relationship. It wasn't like that, but it was just, imagine like you're in college, you have your apartment with your roommate, then suddenly she falls pregnant and moves out and you're in the apartment all by yourself. It was glorious. And we didn't have the type of leases. Our leases were individual. So for anyone wondering, well, doesn't that mean she skipped out on the rent? No, because in college housing, you're held accountable for only your portion. It's not combined. So anyway, her moving out did not affect the rent, and they just didn't bother putting anyone else in there. It was fantastic. Anyway, I digress. So she had moved out at this point, right? Baby was born, and her parents were on their way to see her, to come visit. They lived about 3 hours away. And she let them know, hey, when you guys get here, or before you leave, will you bring a pair of socks with you? Or something like that, because we don't want any shoes on the carpet because of the baby. We don't want any shoes in the house because of the baby. You guys, her parents told her, we will not take our shoes off in your house. We are your parents. We'll do whatever we want. And she told them, you can't come in my house then. If you're not going to take your shoes off and respect my home and respect my baby, you can't come in. You guys, they were almost there. Her parents turned all the way back around and went home. Literally, because she was asking them simply to either bring a pair of socks with you or just take your shoes off, whatever. You don't have to wear socks, but most people want something on their feet, You either have to do one or the other, for the baby. And they were so angry and so appalled that she would ask them to do that. They turned around and went back home after they had driven like 3 hours. So if that's not narcissism at its highest level, I don't know what else. I don't know what else is. If that's not this dark triad that we were just looking at, I don't know what else is. And I was proud of her for putting her foot down, because I would be the same way. Like, oh, no, shoes off. We got a baby in here. Crawling or not, there's a baby in here. You're not tracking all this stuff. It's shoes off now for my house. And there's no baby, but I do have pets. And me, I'm important too. So it's shoes off. You know what I mean? So for them to be so angry and so put off to have that boundary or that rule put on them that they would turn around and go all the way back home and not meet their new grandchild, that's someone who's deeply unwell in the head. You're not well. And that demon hopped right on out. But at least they turned around and went home and didn't try to like force their way in the house. But yeah, these things are out here happening, you guys. Yeah, it's filled to the brim. Let's see. Beautiful voice. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's see. Indeed, it says Americans are fiercely independent. That's how they were brought up. And the issue that I'm starting to see now is that that independence never fully checked or never trained properly leads to complete total narcissism. Because if you think about it, that's how small children are, because babies are born free. They know no limitations. So when you start to put limitations on them, they get very upset because babies are free in the mind. You understand? But unchecked freedom can lead to a lot of problems, as we've seen, you know? And it's kind of like, I think what we're discovering is there's no such thing as a truly 100% free country, because a 100% free country would essentially be ultimately become anarchy, chaos, and lawlessness. Because laws, that's what laws are. Laws are like the boundary markers. So in many ways, we've never been truly free, but some of those rules are actually beneficial. Some of those laws are helpful. Let's see. Exactly. It says that's the ultimate problem. People aren't told no, aren't disciplined, and can't take constructive criticism. I'm telling you, if you want to end a friendship, end a business relationship, end anything, give some constructive feedback or some criticism and watch it dissolve. So there you go. So there's a life hack. If there's a if there's a situation you're trying to get out of and you're having trouble, just give that person a piece of raw, uncut feedback, and I promise you they're going to go away and hate you forever for it. So you have to be ready for that side effect, but people can't take it. Let's see. I am still scrolling through your comments. They're all very good. I saw a meme. So the comment on the screen says, I'm an introvert. I don't mind this at all. The meme said, when you find out quarantine is your day-to-day life, or it was like when you find out what you call quarantine is your day-to-day life. It was so funny. It makes me laugh still. Like, oh, this is called quarantine? Oh. Okay. Let's see here. Yes, it says everything makes sense when you accept these people harvest energy for their demons, right? So when you're saying back up, give me a little bit of space, get away from me. Like, they need to be up on you and like make you kind of uncomfortable so they can feast off that discomfort. We're talking about the other side tonight. We're on the far side of things for those who like these chats. Yeah. That's why this quarantine has been so hard. Working from home has been so hard. Gotta see you, need to see you, need to see you, have to see your face. I find it bizarre and strange. When I'm in the grocery store, I'm terrible, y'all. I'm awful. When people are standing because to me, it's kind of like, I just don't get it. Number one, I think it's strange. But number two, I think it's a little bit like rude. So like if someone is so close to me that I keep feeling myself bumping into them, if I can't move forward, I'll accidentally like move backward really quick and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Oh, sorry, didn't see you there. Hey, my bad. Back up. I've seen people wearing like these hula hoops on strings. I need to get some of those. I can't. Let's see here. Yeah, they hate boundaries. I'm telling you, you want to make a demon hop out, tell them no, give them a boundary, and it's going to hop right out. Let's see. Let's see here. All right, we're almost wrapping up. Mm-hmm. Right. And this is where I'm at right here. It says, well, not me personally, but what I'm saying is I agree with your sentiment. It says, I don't believe the official story, but out of respect for everyone, I follow the rules in place. Right. Like I have my doubts and questions too, y'all. I really do, especially with everything now coming right on the heels of this. It's something just doesn't feel right. So it's not that I don't jive or smell what you're stepping in, but I am going to give people 6 feet. I already wash my hands pretty frequently, but now I'm just a little bit more conscientious. I do wear a mask in public because actually I'm happy to for the first time. I've always wanted to, but didn't want to look like a freaking weirdo. So I didn't. But now I can wear a mask. I don't have to smell the world. Someone coughs or sneezes near me, it doesn't bother me quite as badly because I got a mask on and so do they. I don't have to do my makeup quite as often. So yeah, it's kind of like, I feel like what's being asked is not egregious, but I get why people feel like it is. Let me see here. Let's see. Right. Says, why do narcs love Costco? It's like a status symbol for them. Costco, I respect Costco and their rules. I'm just disappointed they still don't have any toilet paper in stock, man. That's silly. That's crazy. Still. Yeah, they have full-scale implosions. Let me see. It says, I worked in the restaurant industry and all of this, washing of hands, don't cough in your hand, only elbow, if at all. Wipe down everything before each guest. Don't serve anything or anything filthy or filthy utensils is basic. Right. This is supposed to be basic stuff, you guys. Basic. Like, when did we get so gross as people? See, she needs to be arrested, in my opinion. I was in a store and a lady came in with her mask under her chin, hacking. I'm talking about a gut-wrenching cough. I hid in an aisle, waited for her move, all while holding my breath until I could escape. Like, she needs to be arrested. I'm sorry. You need to be arrested or removed. Like, what gives you the right to do that? Like, and I understand that people have allergies. I know that you can't always predict a sneeze. Like, you're not like, oh, I'm going to sneeze in 30 minutes. Like, sneezes creep up on you. I get that. I get that sometimes you're talking and something just catches in your throat and you have to like cough or else you'll kind of choke. Like, your eyes will start tearing up and watering. I get that. I'm talking about those people who know they've got something going on, like this lady, who will still come in the store anyway, hacking and coughing and looking at you like you better not say anything to me. And I will. I'm going to look at you like you're crazy and like you have the plague. I am. And if it's bad enough or you're close enough to me and I can't get away quickly enough, I'm going to say, oh, wow, I'm sorry. Are you feeling unwell? Wow, I'm sorry. I think I need to remove myself from your presence. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on. But now it all makes sense, man. Let's see. Yeah, IKEA overwhelmed me too when I went for the first time. Let's see. Oh, a super sticker came in. Thank you for the super sticker. Gold and rubies. I appreciate it. And my comments jumped, so I lost about half of them. But I think I've gotten the overall gist of what you guys were talking about. Just still scrolling. All right, you guys. I think this is a pretty good stopping place. I think we had a good conversation this evening. Overall, main idea, too long didn't read. The demons are hopping out now that they're being asked to do things that might actually benefit or be kind to other people. And their boundaries are being set up around them, and they don't like it. They're having a fit. They're having meltdowns, implosions, explosions. And I think what makes it worse, I think if it was like, if you do these things, it'll only protect you, they wouldn't be so mad about it. But I think what upset them the most is the fact that doing these things is also to protect other people. When the CDC and those folks started telling them, this is not just for you, it's for other people, that's the click. That was the switch that flipped that made them really be like, oh, then I'm really not doing it. If it was going to protect them only, I promise you they'd have far less of a problem with it. But because it's also designed to protect other people, that's they just can't do it. They can't. It's too much like being nice. It's too much like being a thoughtful, considerate person. It's too much like being agreeable. This is the society we have people filled to the brim with. And my concern looking forward is, okay, 2020 has been quite the shit show, has it not? But what about future events and future things that happen? Like, we've seen how we respond as a society to unusual events and unusual things. So what about the other stuff that's coming? Like, these are the people we're dealing with. They're here. They're present. They are legion. Good God. There's lots of them. And they've infiltrated lots of different areas of our society. How we're going to get rid of them, I don't know. But I know one way that you can call it out and make it hop out really fast is to put a boundary around it, tell it no, or tell it, hey, if you do this, you're going to be helping someone else. And you'll see that demon hop right out of its skin. Right out. So with that, you guys, I am going to go ahead and wrap the show. I have enjoyed it. I had a good time with you guys this evening. I hope you guys had a good time as well. I really hope you're hanging in there. And I'm just going to go ahead and go on mute. I'm going to let you guys finish your conversations about 5 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up. So with that, you guys take care. Have a great week. Hang in there. And I'll try to come to you again this week with another live stream, okay? Thank you all so much. Bye.